Hey YouTube, this is The Art of Prepping. I'm back. So it's getting kind of late. I'm just going to do a real quick video and go to bed. Excuse the lighting again. It's way too dark and cold and windy outside. So I just threw a few things here on this cover and they don't have to just do as a backdrop. I apologize. But I just wanted to plug a website that I've been kind of following for a while now. And I really feel comfortable now to recommend it. I don't really recommend a lot of things at all. But I have to say, if you wanted more additional information in a written form, so you can just sit there and read stuff about prepping and survival, survivalsullivan.com. Once again, survivalsullivan.com is a good resource. You can spell Sullivan Sullivan. And they have a really good article. That's actually is by one person, I believe. His name is Dan Sullivan. I would assume that he's the owner or the individual that runs the site. But Dan Sullivan wrote this article, and I really like this. In fact, it really kind of speaks a lot of the same tone and ideology of my channel. In fact, it was kind of shocking some of the way he even talked about things. It's just like I would talk about it. And it's called The 18 Types of Preppers You Will Run Into, once again by Dan Sullivan. And so I want to plug this over there at survivalsullivan.com. This particular article is kind of like the full spectrum view, at least according to Dan, of the different types of preppers in the world. And some of them are more advantageous for certain things than others. And some of them he recommends to be more of than others, and others not so much. And I would agree with pretty much everything he says. It makes a lot of sense. But in real life, though, we're really a collection of several of these 18. And so each of these 18 is a little bit stereotypical if you were to try to put yourself in just one. So that's not the objective, but you might see little bits and parts of you in several of these. In fact, when I counted up the little bits and pieces of these 18, I came up with 7 out of the 18 that I would actually say that I have a little bit of me in there. And so without further ado, I'm going to go through this list and let this be up to you if you want to go over to his website to check out the more detailed explanation of each, or if you just want to check out other things. So I'm just going to go through the titles of each of these and just for fun, and then we're going to close it out. Number 1, the sheeple. Number 2, the hoarder. Number 3, the accidental prepper. Number 4, the average prepper. And sometimes these titles are just a little bit misleading. You don't want to read into it. Like the average prepper, that would be kind of common sense. It's like the average prepper, what they do. It's kind of like the mainstream prepper. But the one before that, the accidental prepper, it's not because they actually had an accident and they woke up. It was actually a kind of person who already was prepping just because that's how they are. It's their personality and that's how they view the world. So it's kind of like that. And like you may say, well, the sheeple, how can the sheeple be a prepper? Well, it's the type of person who think they are prepared, but they're not at all. And so these are all kind of interesting in their own way. He formats it in a way that I kind of wouldn't personally, but I think he has a good point because he's trying to include the entire population actually. Not really just preppers, but he's saying that he kind of defines prepping or preppers actually in a little bit more expansive terminology than I would, but it is interesting. So number 4 was the average prepper. Number 5 is the survivalist, which he makes up of like the traditional average prepper, from what I understand, what his terminology, with a higher level of bushcraft skills. So a prepper with bushcraft skills equals a survivalist, according to Dan. Number 6, the homesteader. Number 7, the self-defense and fitness prepper. It's kind of interesting. I do know someone like that. Number 8, the minimalist prepper. Number 9, the know-it-all prepper. And in this case, it's actually a prepper who does know it all. But there's actually some interesting points that he makes that just because you have all the textbook smarts, you may not have all of the real world types of experience. And so it could be detrimental. Okay, so number 10 is the economist. Number 11 is the doomsday prepper. Number 12, the tactical prepper. Number 13, the religious prepper. Number 14, the gun enthusiast. Number 15, the bug out prepper. Number 16, the bug in prepper. And number 17, the fearful prepper. And the last one, which is a little bit difficult to define, some of these, in particular the last one, the conspiracy theorist. Now, the conspiracy theorist to me it's pretty valid. There's actually real conspiracies. I mean, the word conspiracy has been blown out as, it's kind of like you live in your own world and there's no real data points or facts to back things up. But in real life, the conspiracy, by definition, is actually a real thing that happens. People conspire. And so that's interesting, But some people get into more the theories of conspiracies than the factual type of conspiracies. And I think that's what he's trying to expand upon. So anyways, these are just the 18 types of preppers you will run into, according to Dan Sullivan. And I think he does a pretty good job. So if you want to check out his site one more time, survivalsullivan.com, hey, tell him if you leave a message or whatever that I sent you over there. He's a cool guy. There's a lot of resources there. There's a lot of good sites elsewhere as well. And if you have any recommendations, I'm sure that I've been to most, but probably not all. Feel free to leave a couple links or maybe just an idea for our fellow community members to check out as well in the comment section below. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for hitting the thumbs up. Thanks for sharing the video. If you haven't subscribed, feel free to do so. We have lots of videos that come out every day, and it's very exciting. We have lots of interaction now on the channel. And once again, if you want to email me privately, private PM, whatever, you can email me at theartofprepping@hotmail.com. Thanks for your support.